split first map, considering how spicy it can be. It is Prodigy that are going to kick off on defense to start us off. And already seeing 2 Jets, I'm pretty sure you and I are happy to see that.
There's Luzza getting the first pick for the side of Prodigy. Talking about it coming into this one, nolpenki maybe a little bit favored here, as Prodigy has like a weird setup going on with a lot of their players going to different teams. And nolpenki coming in from that gauntlet of a qualifier, managing to make it into the event. But it's a great start to the round here for Prodigy. Good nade damage coming out as well, as they've brought it down to just 3. The Raze, Sage, and the Jet. They were trying to get through the ropes to get onto the A site. The wall comes through and forces them back, so now they have to go up into heaven and towards B, where you've got Pipson and you've got the Cypher by his side as well. Now Pipson goes down, but it's Chihuahua who's here to try and anchor, but only 1 kill coming in from Chihuahua as well. So now you've got Jerome around the corner, but it's Vac hitting every single shot. 4 kills on the round. Vac looking for the ace with 92 HP remaining. This went from great to terrible, as it's now down to just the Sage.
I already know what chat is saying, and I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. His name is Vac, and he's not going to get Vac banned. He's just got a great shot. Look at that. An ace for Vac. Finds all 5 members one at a time for Prodigy. And, you know, kind of moving into this specific tournament, I think it is very difficult to do research when it comes to Prodigy. You know, they put bits and pieces together every now and again. Players come in, players come out, and so just because their win rate on one map as a label, as a team might be high, it's actually the players themselves as a functioning unit that you have to manage, and those stats can kind of start to get convoluted as there's players, you know, coming in and out for the roster. So we'll see how they do. Of course, yesterday was a little bit of a tough showing, whereas nolpenki had, quite honestly, they gave G2 a little bit of a run for their money. So expect them to do well here, and Prodigy are the ones that have to make a name for themselves here.
Law inside this dark cover, just holding the angle right now, looking for a way around it. Actually does find a little bit of a line of sight should they push up a little bit too far, but there's one waiting around the corner. The Ghost! How does he have so many opportunities to fire? Cho just comes up empty-handed. Boo has to bail him out, but it's a little too late. Cho's already been taken out of the equation, so it's a 4-on-4. But at this point, the A site is lost. There's only 1 player on A playing defense. It's Brim, who's in the back corner with a classic, and he dies exactly as you'd expect him to. Meanwhile, Vac pushing forward yet again. Vac finds multiple kills, 2 on the round, pushing into this A site. There's no way he gets the 4K, right? After picking up the ace and pistol? That doesn't happen.
Well, Pipson might just have to deal with him as he swings around the corner, finds the 3rd. Just down to 1 more member remaining. It's Luzza, who's got a shorty, and we've seen how deadly Jets can be with the shorty, and already the shot's gonna connect, but it's the second one that has to be the decider. Loudly going to take out the Jet player, and I'm quite impressed with Vac already, our own little European Wardell. Or really just Vac himself. You know, he's got a name for himself already. Doesn't need to be labeled as anyone other than himself. 8-0 start for him. But I'm excited to see if he gets an operator in hand, if he starts competing with Luzza for some of those early angles. We saw in the previous match the boosts from BZT. Are we going to see some early looks of Jets playing hyper aggressive and trying to get some early picks with the op? So far, Luzza, he's got the op in hand, but he's playing quite far back near the ramp, while the rest of the attack, however, are on the opposite side, ready for a push in towards this B site.
I know I saw people yesterday, some European Valorant players, saying they couldn't wait to watch Vac play, labeling him as the quote-unquote best player in Europe, whether they were being a little tongue-in-cheek or not. I mean, this guy is nutty. He is so insanely good, and right off the start, he's illustrating why we're talking about him so much. Luzza's around the corner with the operator. There's the flash in. That's beautiful. Nice. And there's the ult coming in from Vac. Switches to the pistol, but there's still one on the site. Doesn't even need Vac's help. Destrian is there. Vac finally falls on the push, as Law was able to punish with the Vandal, but the wall goes down. They're going to have to spam away at this ice. It's a 4-on-2. Yet again, nolpenki has the massive man advantage as the spike goes down on the B site.
So, talking a little bit about Split, and talking a little bit about that map number 3 decider match of the best of 3 that we just got to watch. It's a little defender-sided, right? It's just a little bit, maybe a little bit. And so, I'm really starting to wonder if maps that feel AKA defender-sided or AKA attacker-sided really just all vary on the teams that are, of course, playing. And while, yes, Prodigy might be, feel a little weaker coming into this tournament, I have a feeling it is a lot more playstyle reliant than anything. For nolpenki, maybe it is their side that they prefer. Maybe they prefer to attack regardless of the map that they're on, Maybe the strategies that they like to execute. Like, that push towards B, there was an op looking down to garage, and they 3-peeked together and smoked at the same time. And so, all of those elements of surprise did not allow Luzza to find a shot, and then he was dead. And so, you're seeing these looks like this, where they find the opportunity to push in and they take every inch that they can.
Yet again, the attacking side of nolpenki punishing and taking out the Sage right off the rip. Loudly moving over towards B, spots the Cypher on the back side of the bomb site towards default spot, and Cho's picked off another one as the Cypher as well. Boo is moving up into heaven, ready to scare the living daylights out of the Cypher, who's sitting currently in hell, and that's maybe where he ends up going, as it's now down to 1. It's Luzza with just a pistol over on the A site. You heard Tom talk about Luzza as the Jet with the operator could potentially be a strong force coming in from Prodigy, but it looks like that might not even be too possible. If the rounds continue in similar fashion, the odds of encountering Luzza with the operator continue to go down. And then when he is able to get it, you hope they're able to convert. Otherwise, it's a few more rounds of saving up to try to get that big cannon. And it's nolpenki continuing to add to the lead in the meantime. Luzza in sight with the Sheriff. Missed shot. Second opportunity does connect through the chest, but it's not enough. Cho gets a somewhat understated 4K on the round. As much as we praised Vac, it's Cho who saves the day that time.
And what that could tell us is that this team is well-rounded, not just Vac really picking up the slack. It's also some of the other members on the team that are able to frag out, and you need that sometimes. We look at, I know you and I talk a lot about NAs sometimes on this broadcast, but you look at a team like Cloud9, where they've got a star player 10s. Well, you need some pieces around the team that can help support and also help frag out when things get a little hairy, and Cho seems to be that type of player for nolpenki. We are seeing an early look towards A, and it's a couple of kills already traded back and forth, but La manages to find Loudly with the operator, but that was actually towards the garage, and so it's actually this A site that is still open. They don't lose anything from the push yet, and Jerome now picking up the op. He's got to back away, and let's see how he ends up using it.
Cybercage gives Pipson potentially an opportunity, but as it fades, the targets start to move away. You've still got the Cypher here, holding that line of sight, waiting for the peak. Pipson with a quick swing as the breach. Not prepared for Boo, who's behind them. Again, you talked about it, or they talked about it beforehand, saying Boo playing as the Omen feels like the perfect pick, because sometimes he's just right there ready to scare the living daylights out of you, and that's exactly what happens. A 4-on-2, they get site control. Spike should be planted momentarily. It's going to be planted front side as well, so it's planted for heaven, and with 2 players in heaven, you can understand the approach. Chihuahua over towards screens, has the smoke swirling right in front of him. The wall is going to go down as well, preventing this retake from being anything near possible. At this point, it's probably a save coming in from the remaining members as they're starting to back off and regroup towards spawn, and with that missed shot, Law's got to get out of there and get out of there quick.
One of the things that I quickly noticed about the lineup is that Chihuahua, of course, playing the Cypher, and Law instead for Prodigy playing the Sage. I'll have to kind of wrap up that thought as we move on to the end of this round here. They'll try to find Chihuahua. It's around the corner. That Boo surprise! And now Law, the last one standing. It's Destrian from behind. That'll take him out. And, to my earlier thought, Chihuahua, if you recall, when we casted the G2 eSports Invitational together, he was playing Sage. And if I recall, he was fragging out of his mind, and in some cases it's the European sages that you want fragging out because you get more resurrections as a result of it, right? And so I wonder what the decision making came from this team to put Chihuahua towards the Cypher. And listen, I'm not quite sure if that agent swap has been quite impactful for him, but from what we remember, Sage has definitely been a little bit more of a comfort pick for him.
I'll say this, he had good games and bad games. He started out with a really good game. That was the first game, actually. It was on Haven, I think, and they like crushed. I think it was Arch's team that may have even had... Yeah. No, the Angel played on a separate team, but they crushed Arch's team, and he was a big part of that. But from then on, he was a little bit more quiet. Not necessarily as impactful. Still played well, but not necessarily on the caliber of that game he first had. Pipson inside the dark cover. Thought maybe he was being sneaky peeky. Doesn't really work out so well. The site going to be lost here. As you can see, the defense has backed off quite a bit. That rocket's going to finish off the pretty scuffed up Chihuahua, who is very low on HP. So now it's retake time. The ult's been popped by the Jet, so the blades are out currently. Luzza looking to dice nolpenki up just a bit. But no one's giving him anything. They're not pushing up closer. There's the first peek coming out. Law gets a quick shot onto Loudly, immediately traded by Destrian.
Still down to 2, though, for the defense, and considering the weaponry on deck, it does feel like it's going to be the attempt at maybe a late retake or looking for some of those exits. They're still a little undecided, trying to decide based off of what Luzza finds, and they don't actually find anything. And I actually feel like that may be a little bit of a waste of a Blade Storm. You know, at this point, like, you go in and you try to use the most accurate weapon in the game, the Blade Storm. It is the most accurate thing that you could possibly have, and you're using it on the eco, and now you have to reset your ultimate for an attempt that you didn't even try. What did you have to lose? You had pistols anyway. So I don't really understand what the thought process there was for Prodigy. Maybe it was a miscommunication. Jerome, he had a Sheriff too. I'm not really sure why you're holding on to a Sheriff if, like, you're just going to buy a Phantom next round anyway. So a lot of question marks there for Prodigy, but let's see how they end up trying to turn things around, because it's not looking good on a defender side of map.
Even if they win out, this is not a good half. So yeah, not exactly great. Boo spamming up over the top of that dark cover. I mean, who puts a wall there? You have to anticipate that because of that wall placement, he's likely on top of it. So good awareness from Boo to just spam that, because otherwise there's no reason for that wall to exist. It would just be a waste. So well read, and kind of a foolish move from Prodigy, but at the same point in time, I understand why they're making that move. They have not been able to find a solid round as of yet, so they're starting to take risks, which might pay off eventually. But as of yet, it's been nolpenki who punishes all of those advances, those attempts to try and start the round out in a positive manner for Prodigy.
Looks like Prodigy, current setup with 40 seconds left on the clock. They've got 3 set up towards A. And fortunately for them, that may be the correct read. Smokes are going to start to go down. Luzza going to find one, but it's quickly dealt with. Pipson in the back of heaven. He's taken out as well by Loudly and is just down to 2. Unfortunately for Cypher, has to rotate all the way back around. Chihuahua now the last man standing. Jerome was quickly dealt with by Boo. Surprise, surprise. And now Chihuahua might look to save the weaponry or make a dent. We'll see what he ends up deciding. So far, the push forward feels like a dent, but we'll see what the verdict ends up being.
Yet again, nolpenki get onto the site without Prodigy really being able to do anything to stop it, which has been thus far every single round. It doesn't really feel like, maybe the pistol was the only round where it felt like Prodigy had some control over the round. And then Vac took hold of the steering wheel from the back seat and yanked it off the road. I mean, he completely took over with the ace and the pistol. And there's Vac again to get that final kill. He was waiting for Chihuahua to make a move. Chihuahua spends his last minutes alive taking down his teammate, Vac's teammate, that is, who was over on the opposite side of the map. Vac currently at 11-1. Even though we saw a strong round from Cho, which was a 4K, that was a long time ago. Vac has continued to put up numbers.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the team, like, they're just kind of watching the Vac show. And it's not to say that anybody right now on nolpenki is playing bad. It's just Vac's kind of in front of every single play. And on top of that, Prodigy's stuck in kind of save scenarios a couple different times because things aren't working out for them at all.
And you know, the stark comparison here is to look at yesterday's map on Split and how G2 or just better, but I wonder if it's better strategy-wise or if it's better mechanically-wise, because Vac was the bottom performer for the team, but they were all not really having a great game. They kept it close to G2, but it was really Ascent that they were able to shine. And we're seeing here, maybe it's just a vast difference of skill, or really a vast difference of preparedness, as Prodigy, you know, the roster ever-changing, players in and out. And so for nolpenki, this could just be a showcase of how well they can play given the space and given the opportunity of the defense playing a little bit further back.
Chihuahua able to pick off loudly, the most promising start to a round we've seen for the defense in a while. They'll get another one as well as Law chimes in from heaven onto Boo. That one hurts. Law goes for the peak. Vac times it well, blindly fires with the operator. And now the big problem. There's only one player playing a defense. They're going to cut off the rotate as Jet comes through from ropes. Surprise! Even though it's Omen who's been doing a lot of those surprises this time around, it's not. Jerome's still on the site, but with 13 seconds left, all he has to do is delay. Doesn't even get that opportunity. So again, a promising round comes down to this. It's a 2-on-2. They'll get the spike planted with just a moment left on the clock. And it'll fall onto one. And who other than Vac to deliver the last few shots? That's a 4K on the round from Vac. It really started in mid with that blind shot. nolpenki show no signs of slowing down. Even when Prodigy gets a great start to the round, it is stomped out quickly by nolpenki.
To give some caster curse momentum over back to Prodigy,
you can try.
I'm going to try. I think this might be a 13-0, and that gives Prodigy some caster curse momentum.
Look, the truth is, like, it's really hard when you're casting these games because we don't want to sound like we're bashing Prodigy. It's not that they're playing so terrible. It's just that nolpenki is playing really well, and even when nolpenki isn't, they have individual players who are bailing them out of these scenarios.
Yeah. Okay. Great pick here from Chihuahua. Will deny an early look towards B. Fortunately for nolpenki, they still have their star player, Vac. He's set up towards mid, dealing with some of these early looks towards the middle. He's all on his lonesome. On the opposite side, there are two players, and still, it is nolpenki thinking about the idea of pushing either towards B or A. The res means that they need to get involved. Boo will be there for the refrag. Chihuahua, though, in a great spot. Let's see if they spot him out. They clear out the back of the site, but still undetermined whether or not they will push in, because the spike's on A, and they've got 40 seconds left on the clock. So if they want to set up, they need to do so now. They get an early pick onto A. Cho is already there. They use the ultimate from Boo, and so now A looks a lot better, and there's more space to push in.
Luzza trying to go for that Judge Jetty meta. We've seen it work out well for others. Not going to be the case here. Cho is just in a position that makes that almost impossible. Pipson's going to get greeted by some knives in a second. Goes inside the smoke. Doesn't get spotted. The dash, though, the move away. Vac backpedals. Moonwalks away to safety. Unfortunately, only survives for so long. It's down to one, though. It's the Cypher and Spawn, and there's one right around the corner. Boo is holding, waiting for the peak. It is 9-0. Your caster curse attempt did not work at all. If anything, you're just going to claim that you made a great prediction.
Listen, I'm okay with that, but this is not looking so hot. Yeah, at this point, you know, for Prodigy, I wonder, you know, I don't see a lot of teams implement cheesy strategies when they are kind of down and out. They just continue to play standard. At this point, when you're bleeding around so fast, what do you have to lose, right? There's still another map that you could take it to. And so having the opportunity to throw your opponent for a loop might net you around, might net you too. And considering now at this point, nolpenki, I think I saw at one point Vac had 9,000 credits. Like, they are at the tippity top when it comes to the economy. Their economy is not faltering in any way. So setting up some of these cheese strats could definitely work, considering you've got some flashes, you've got some smokes, you can make things very confusing, but it seems just nolpenki are the ones that are making it confusing, and that's really how they're winning some of these rounds.
Desperation's starting to set in for Prodigy. We should just see force buys from here on out. They're just going to spend every penny they have to try and build up some kind of defense. Right now, it's about to be problem city for this Cypher. The Cypher sends one dart down range, and it doesn't really work out so well. Chihuahua sees the nades pour in. A few more bullets, and he's gone. 23 HP back behind this wall. Yeah, there you go. It was inevitable at that point that he was going to be taken out. Now, in mid, you've got this wall ready to pop. Cho is right behind it, waiting for the ice to break. When it shatters, there's a Sage waiting on the other side of this box. Cho holds, but it's not going to work out so well for him. Law is there with the punish. Now, the site's been completely lost. So, at least they're able to move back in from close range, but they're not able to stop the spike plant. I like the move from Vac as well. Uses that updraft to get on top of the boxes that they sprayed the Cypher through, decides to drop off in the end. This retake getting harder as the dark cover comes down into heaven. Spam through is right on the money. Puts Law down to 47 HP.
Luzza, though, he's got a flank, and he has the opportunity to finally meet his maker on the opposite sides. His alter ego, Vac, on the jet. And so far, of course, Vac, we've seen have a great game and takes him down. And quite honestly, that might be the victory in and of itself here for Prodigy, as Luzza backs all the way up, not really looking to defuse the spike. He's like, I got the dub. I won. I'm the better jet. I'm going to go all the way over to A, and we'll lose the round.
It does cost nolpenki a little bit as they come down to just one player, but I don't think they're really concerned. They had 4 players all on 9K. That's so stupid. The fact that their money has built up that much, I mean, that's just insane. 3 deaths for Vac, 2 deaths for Destrian as the Sage. The only player who's died consistently is Cho, and that's fine. He's 9-6. It's not like he's having a bad performance. Luzza and Jerome have somehow managed to survive a couple of these rounds. Jerome, though, hasn't yet found a kill. They talked about it. Maybe they would have liked to see him go to that Omen. I wonder how things would be different if he had. Jerome gets aggressive. He's the first one to fall. The trade is there, or the follow-up, not the trade is there. Now they do push in, and Vac will go down, but Cho picks off Pipson almost instantaneously. Yet again, the site's been lost, but there's only 2 players there. The Omen's actually all the way over on B. So I wonder if they're going to try something kind of goofy and push that spike through spawn and walk through the backside, but it looks like they are just going to dedicate to the plan on A.
Yeah, the 2 members going to be splitting up here. One going to be going towards the ramp. Chihuahua just going to eat those nades, and he'll go down to 68, I think. Unfortunately, the Sage is not going to be there to heal him, as now chose the rock between them. Loudly waiting down the ramp. A great position there, but doesn't really need to even be there, as Cho will just take out Chihuahua from the distance. And now, Law looking to be the judge here too, as he takes out Boo. Still a couple more on the money as he finds 2, but how many more can we find? There's 2 left, and that spike's being defused. The post plant is a little at distance here from nolpenki, and so Law has an opportunity, maybe at least to get it to half, but it's in a spot that Loudly can easily peek. And now here comes the peek. Shot's gonna be good. And now we are at the last and final round, and also potential match point here for nolpenki.
$11-0. Look, you tried to caster's curse it. Let me try.
I tried.
I have never casted a shutout in Valorant. I've casted since like day 3 of the beta. We've covered a lot of content together. I've covered a lot of open events, low-hanging fruit in the early days of just whoever wanted to enter, seeing some of the teams flesh out live. But I've never actually covered a 13-0. This might be the first time. That is my attempt at the hardest hardcore caster curse I could possibly put out. Because Prodigy right now desperately needs some help. We were joking in the last series saying, oh, you guys need to spam the soda to help Foda. I don't know what you would spam to help Prodigy, but they're in need of it because nolpenki is just outclassing them. Again, it's not that Prodigy is terrible. They're just being beaten out in a lot of these one-on-ones. Like Cho, just go spin mode on Jerome. Jerome just cannot manage to get his foot in the door. Consistently chopped down early. And as a result, they find themselves with the man disadvantage yet again with a minute left on the clock. It'll be an A take where they're going to have to work with a 5-on-4.
Oh, operator here though for Pipson. Almost, crosshairs almost lined up there, but Destrian will take him out with the headshot. Luzza though, he's got himself the Blade Storm. Cho has been in that position all along, and up they go. As quickly as they go up, they will fall down as well. Luzza taken out by Boo there, and it is match point. And I can't believe that it's going down to the pistol to potentially decide the whole map.
I mean, at this point, the pregame analysis was longer than this map.
Oh no, fuck!
Like
this caster curse. We're trying so hard.
I just want to see Prodigy put up a few rounds. Like, no one wants to see a team get shut out. No one does.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the community does, but like it's unexciting. There's no storyline building. All you can say is like, oh, nolpenki looked really good, and Prodigy didn't look nearly as ready for this matchup. I don't want to, like, again, we talked about this in the last series. You don't want to sound like you're just thrashing a team. Right now, nolpenki is just better. That's all I can say. They're just playing so much better than Prodigy is. Here comes the push. Vac is ready as Luzza comes right into his sights. The flash pops a second too late, so it's post-mortem for Luzza. Vac right around the corner yet again. Chihuahua continues to force that issue and force that aggression. A 5-on-3 early. Vac peeks out one more time. Can't finish off Pipson. So at least there's that. They've taken Vac out of the equation.
So now it is the 3v4. Still very doable here for Prodigy as they'll now send that spike rotated over towards B. But all there is a camera. And so they'll be able to likely spot the plant. And so maybe nolpenki might read the lack of push towards A as a opportunity to rotate back. Cho now doesn't go towards heaven. Still stays on the low ground there as it's Prodigy that are starting to make their way up through heaven. The rest of the defense haven't really read this or felt this out quite yet. They still feel like A might be the breadwinner here, but Cho, he's ready for the push in.
The remaining 3 players trying to get into the B site. They're going to spot one with the cam. That's Pipson, who is falling towards hell. Destrian is waiting in the ropes. Jerome is currently heaven, puts a smoke down as he drops down to join his teammate on site. How do they deal with the Cypher? Not like that. There's one left on the site. It's Pipson trying to prevent the 13-0 shutout. Will at least get the kill on site, but it's not going to be enough. nolpenki swing for the fences, and it's a grand slam to kick things off here. 13